Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be introducing a new technology which is ASP.NET, and we will be building a CRUD application inside C# and Razor pages. So ASP.NET is Microsoft technology for building web applications. So we will be building a simple CRUD kind of an application with the help of MySQL server database. We will store the records here of the different users clients. So this is basically the interface of the web application. So we have a home page, we have a privacy page, and we have the clients page. So the routing is all, you can see the routing is done here. We go to the slash clients, our application is running on localhost port number, and we have basically this button out there which lets you create a new client. And if I click this button, a form will be shown to me. And for styling purposes, guys, ASP.NET comes with the bootstrap styling by default. So we have these beautiful forms looking like here. I will be showing you step by step how to create this application. So let me just show you the demo here. So first of all, you need to basically, you can write your name, email address, and then phone number and address. Click on submit. So basically, guys, you will now see a entry has been successfully added, and we have the name, email, phone, address, and additional field is also there which is created at, and it is created on 7th of July. Time is also very correct, and we have two options here. We can even create new client here. Just write the actual, click submit. So you can now see another entry is added. ID is auto incremented, and we have different fields out there. So we have these buttons, edit buttons. So basically if I click the edit button, I will be able to change the name. We can change any entries out there. Click update. So our entries will be changed right here. And we also have the delete button. So if you click the delete button, the entry will be deleted. So all these changes will be saved, guys, because we are loading these changes from the database. So we will be building our application inside Visual Studio 2022 Community Edition. So this is a kind of an application. You will be get to know about Visual Studio and how we can build out this web application in ASP.NET Core. And so let's start building this tutorial, guys. And the requirements, let me tell you beforehand. You need this software which is Visual Studio 2022, and simply click on Google, type this, and you can download this community edition, which is totally free. You did not have to pay any sort of money. So I have already installed it. This basically comes with the setup file, and then you need to install individual modules. So after you install it, you will have this nice little community edition here. And also one other software, guys, you do need to install is the Microsoft SQL Server. So just write here SQL Server Microsoft download, and basically SQL Server downloads will be there. And here basically what we need to do, either you can developer or Express, but I will choose the Express one, guys. So simply download the Express server, simply click download, and this setup file will be there. Simply install this Express software. Once basically it is installed, this will automatically start here. If you go to services and just search for the service called as SQL Server, the SQL Server will be running here. You will see that SQL Server Express. This is the name of the database that is running right here. So when you install this, this server will automatically start. So these are the two requirements, guys. Just install these, and now you are ready to go to build your first ASP.NET Core web application. So in the next section, I will start building the project. Now, guys, in order to get started here, just launch your Visual Studio. If you just go to start here, simply type here Visual Studio 2022. So this basically app will show here. Simply launch this app, and this will now open. And you can also go to file here and simply select new project, and now this window will appear. So you can create various projects using this software, but we will now choose this one. You can ASP.NET Core Web Applications. So we will use this here. It uses Razor Pages content. Simply select that, click on next, and here you need to give your web application a name. So let's suppose I give a name here which is user CRUD, and simply click next here. And now you can untick this option, guys, which is configure for HTTPS. This simply means that it will also add HTTPS support for localhost, but we don't require HTTPS. Simply untick this option, and all the things, click on create. So now this will create your brand new project, guys, and here you will see the directory structure of a basic ASP.NET Core web application. This will generate this code for you. And guys, if you want the full source code of the application that we are building, the link is given in the description of the video. You can get the full source code by going to the description of the video. So first of all, what we will do right here, we will connect to a database. As I already told you here, now to basically check after you install Microsoft SQL Server, go to here services and make sure that this service is running here, which is SQL Server, SQL Express. So mine service is running right here. So this SQL Server is running. So here in the left side here, you will now see basically this is the data connections. And this option that you see right here, simply click this option, and here we will basically add the connection. So here what we will say is that we need to provide the server name. So in our scenario, guys, in your scenario also, you just need to type here dot. If you have successfully installed SQL Express, you need to then write slash and then write SQL SQL EXPRESS. You can even click this button, test connection. So now my text connection is succeeded. So database does exist here. Connection is succeeded. So now we just need to basically create a database here, which is user DB, or we can simply write here client DB and click on OK. So now it will tell me that this database doesn't exist. If you want to create this database, so it will take some time. You can now see the database client DB does not exist. Would you like to attempt to create it? So I will say yes. So now my database is created, guys. You will see that. So now it contains two databases. First one's user DB, and basically here you need to right click on refresh. So you will now see there are no tables out there. So how we can do that? It's very simple. Right click this, and here we will write new query, and here we will write basic SQL query, guys. If you haven't studied SQL, it stands for structured query language. In PHP also, MySQL database, we write SQL queries. So now to create a table, it's very simple. We write create table, and here we will write the table name, which will be clients, and you can call this anything. I will call this as clients, and after that we will define the column names. So first column will be ID. It will be an integer, and it will be not null, and it should be the primary key of the table. It should be auto incremented, and then identity. And then we will basically have the name field, which will be varchar. Varchar simply means variable characters, string characters. It will be not null. And then we will have email. It will again be varchar. Character length will be 150, and it will be not null, and also it will be unique. So two persons can't be having the same email address, so this simply means that. Then we will have phone number. This will again be a varchar, 20 characters, and this will be null. It can be null. The user can left this field empty. And lastly we have the address. Again it will be varchar, and it can also be null as well. And lastly, we will have a property when the user is created. So it will basically hold a date time field. It will not be not null and default. And basically this field will take the current date and time whenever the record is created. So this is the definition of the table. If you execute this query right here, simply click the green button. So now if you right click refresh, one table will be created right here. So if you want to see the structure of the table, you will now see open table definition. So it will just show you the table here. ID is the primary key, and then we have name, email, phone number, address created at. So this is the structure of the table. And now basically if you want to insert some data inside the table, what we can do right here, we can write some more statements here. Just after this we can define a, if you studied the insert statements, which is insert into clients, and here we will define the column names, which is name, email, phone, address, and then we will define the values here, which will be Bill Gates, and you can define any value here. Then comes the phone number. So if you just define this insert statement right here, guys, so what it will do, basically it will insert this record. So if you just now refresh it now, click refresh. So if you now basically show table data, so what it will do, it will insert this, nothing is there. So let me just see what is the problem here. I think I have given all the source code, guys, in the description. So this is, let me just paste the insert statement. I have just made some mistake here in the insert statement. So you will see insert into clients, which is the table name, and we have defined name, email, phone, address, and the actual values here. You can see that. If I now do that, so no issues are there. If you see on line 15, if you just check now, refresh, let me just paste this whole, and here you need to click this button execute. So it is saying that there is already an object named clients in the database. So what it is saying that there is already a table right here. So it is saying 6 rows affected. So now the data is successfully inserted. So now if you see here, show table data. Now guys, you will see that if I right click the table here, there is basically this option here which tells you that show table data, and you will see that 6 records is successfully added here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the information that you inserted inside our SQL query. So in this way, guys, you can insert data manually as well using the SQL query. And now in the next step, guys, we will create the actual Razor files so that we can connect to the database and display that data inside the browser. So I will be seeing you in the next section. So now guys, for the very first time, we will write some code inside our ASP.NET Core application. After we created the database, Now you have seen this solution explorer, guys. This is that directory structure of your web application. If this panel is not showing here, you can go to file, you can go to this view option, and then basically you can hide this server explorer. These are keyboard shortcuts, control alt s. Also we have solution explorer as well, control alt l. This is just a shortcut, control plus alt l. This is a shortcut in order to hide this or show it. If it is not showing, you can press this keyword and this will show. And here, guys, basically the main directory of this is pages. Pages is actually what the application sees. So if I run this application, in order to run this application, guys, you need to press the green key, this green button right here. So if you press this keyword, your application will run here in the browser. So now this application will start automatically at localhost 5038. So this is the default port number that Microsoft ASP.NET uses, and it basically contains two pages, guys, the home page and the privacy page. This default template comes with these two pages. The routing is there, you will see. If you go to the privacy page, then this is the routing pattern slash privacy. If you go to the home page, then it will show the welcome page. So now we need to show the records from the database, guys. So how we can do that? First of all, in order to stop the application, you need to press this red button. That's it. So every time you make a change, you need to run this application like this. And now we need to create a new directory, guys. Here we will simply create a new folder. Just create a new folder inside this. I will call this as clients. You can call this anything, but I will call this clients, and inside this folder, guys, we will create a new razor page. And here razor page empty needs to be there. Simply select that, and this I will call this as index.cshtml. cshtml stands for, guys, C# plus HTML, and here you need to select razor page empty. Click on add. So here, guys, what does it created? It created two files. This is the actual C# file here, where you will basically define all your models. Models basically means the data that you want to show inside your view. If you don't know, guys, ASP.NET uses the MVC approach, which is model view controller. This is not actually MVC, but still it uses that approach for building web applications. And if you don't know about Razor, guys, let me tell you about what is Razor. Razor is actually a technology, or you may say it's a special file. If you just type Razor, what is Razor? It uses C# instead of JavaScript in HTML to build out the server logic. So ASP.NET uses Razor markup. So this Razor markup is called as this file, which is CS_HTML file. This is the full form. A CS_HTML file is a C# HTML web page file used by Razor. So it contains C# plus the HTML code. And first of all, here, guys, what we will do right here, we will define a class inside our this file, which is index.cs_html.cs file. This is C# class. If you're just learning for the very first time, some lines will just be very confusing, but just write the code. So here we will be defining our client info class, guys. You can call this as anything, but I will call this like this. It also gives you suggestion as well, guys, as you type here, guys, inside Visual Studio. And it contains, as you all know, guys, it contains this properties that we define here. We defined, I think, phone, public string address, and also created at. So in our database, guys, we have defined these fields. If you see that, we have defined these 6 fields: name, email, phone, address, created at. So we don't, you can see we are storing all these inside our client info. This is the class that we constructed. Now we will use this class here, basically inside here, to get the data from the database. So right here, whenever you load your application, guys, whenever you go to localhost and type the address. So let me show you what I meant by that. So whenever you load your application, click this button to run your application. This application loads right here. So whenever it loads right here, this file gets called automatically, this function on get. So because we are making a get request in order to open a page right here, whenever we are opening the home page, privacy page, we are actually calling the on get method. So this method gets called. So similarly, we have a method called as on post. So this method, guys, this is a convention in order to write this, guys. This method calls whenever you make any sort of post request. Let's suppose you are creating a client, we are submitting a form. So this method will automatically gets called. We will be seeing this method later on when we will create new clients. But for now, we will be creating the client. So now we will be writing the code inside on get. So first of all, what we will do right here, we will define here, we will create a public list of all the clients that we need to. You can see that we will declare a list. We will create a new list which is of the type. It gives you suggestions as well, guys. So we have created this class right here. So we are creating a list of that type class. So after this, inside this on get, whenever you open that home page, we will write the code inside our try catch block, guys. So here we will make the connection to the database. So connection, we can basically have the connection string. So connection string, guys, is nothing but how to get the connection string. It's very easy. Just uh, where this is your database, simply click properties here, right click this database, click properties, and in the right hand side panel, this is the connection string it will give you. This is your connection string, guys. Simply copy this connection string and simply paste it here. This will be the full connection string. Put a semicolon, and this will be the connection string. So simply do that process that I showed you, and this is your connection string. So after you get this string right here, we can basically make the connection using this code here, which is SQL connection connection. We will write connection here, and then we will write new SQL connection, and here we just need to pass here connection string. So this is the actual code that we need to write here, guys. And for it is saying that, yeah, so this class is not available, guys. We need to install a package for this. So what we can do right here, simply click view, and right here inside your project, here we need to right click and simply go to this option, manage NuGet packages, and we need to install a package, which basically click on browse, and we need to install a package, guys, which basically interacts with the database. So this package will be, let me search for that package here, which will SQL. Yeah, this is, I think, is the package here, Microsoft Data SQL Client. So this package, guys, you need to install, guys, inside your application. So basically it provides a data provider for SQL Server. So these classes provide access to how to connect, how to fetch data from your. So you need to install this package. Simply click install, and a window will appear here. You need to install this package. So just wait. So simply click OK and click on I accept. So this will now installed inside your package. Now you can see that a green button is there. You can see is installed. So now you can simply close this window. So if I once again write this SQL connection, guys, you need to install this package, not the previous one. I think I intentionally spoke the incorrect one. Simply type this again. Go to manage Nogod packages and simply type this system data.sql client. This is the package that we need to install, guys. Simply click install and I accept. So now this package will be installed here. You will see that. So now simply close this window. So here now you will see, guys, inside the drop down you will get your SQL connection string right here. So inside this, what we will do right here, we will make the connection. So here we will, first of all, what we will do right here, we will say connection open. We will open the connection, and then after that we will write the SQL query string SQL, and this here you need to simply write the query here, select star from the table. So our table name was clients. So after this, guys, we will simply say using SQL command, and we will say command is equal to new SQL command. We will pass our SQL, and also we will pass the connection as well, connection string. And inside this, guys, what we will say, we need to read the data after we fetch all the data. So how we can do that? It basically provides a class to read the data, which is SQL data reader, and is equal to command dot execute reader. This is the actual command here. And inside this, guys, here what we will do, we will simply run a while loop, and here we will simply say while reader read. So this simply means that if the data is present right here, keep on looping this, keep on repeating the step. So what we will say is that we will make a new object of that class that we defined, client info, and the ID will be simply be equal to, it is in integer. So that's why we will use this method, which is get int 32 0. And then we will have the name property. So this is reader get string, because name is in string format. Then our email is equal to reader get string 2. This is index number, guys, because ID is the first column, so that's why index is 0. Then we have 1, we have 2, that's why. And then we have our, I think, is the phone number. Then we have our address, and lastly we also have a property, guys, which is created at. which is for that we need to use the date time, because that is inside date time. We need to convert this into string, so we will say that toString. So you can see that we are converting that date into string by using toString method. That's all. If you see, we have some error right here. What is the error? Let me see. New SQL. Okay, I think we just need to. I think this it is creating some kind of error right here. Okay, yeah, curly bracket was missing right here. This was the try curly bracket, so we need to write this. This is all that we need to write inside our C# file, guys, because let me explain you what we have written right here. We have created a class and in which we have declared all the fields that we stored inside our table, which is the ID, name, email address, phone number, address created at. After we created this class, we are simply making a list variable of this class, which is client info. A list variable. List is basically an array in JavaScript. If you have studied, it's basically an array. And then we are making the connection. This is our connection string. After we make the connection, we are fetching the all the information which is present inside the table. Then we are reading all this information inside the while loop. We are basically making an object client info, and then we are instantiating into act. That's all. After we do that, guys, the most important thing, we need to insert this information into the list clients variable. We have this variable which is list clients. We need to add this using the add method, which is client info. That's how we have created this variable which is list clients. We are adding this client info, this object, into this list. That's all. So using this list clients variable, guys, that we declared, now we will go into our this file, which is the razor file, razor view index.cs.html. We will now use this variable in order to display the information in a bootstrap table. So how we can achieve that? It's very simple, guys. We will write basic HTML right here, and we will give it a title here to the page, which is list of clients. And here we can simply write anything here. Let's suppose clients. If you run this application, so what will happen? So if you see in the application, we only have two pages right here, home page and the privacy page. We haven't added this client page. So how we can add this page? It's very simple. So just go to your this shared page, and shared page contains this layout file. So this layout file, guys, simply go to this layout file. So this basically contains the parent HTML, the home page, and here we need to add a list item. So this list item will be simply go to slash clients slash index. We will go to the index page inside this, and here we will say clients. So just make this change, guys. Simply we are modifying this code, guys. We are going to this page which is slash client slash index, and then this is the name of the anchor tag. That's all. If you refresh now, what will happen? Now we will have the third page, clients. If you click it, it will redirect you to the index page. So this index is not shown in the address bar. It is automatically detected that we are going to the index page. So it is showing slash clients only. So we are loading our index.html file. So now we will load all the basic clients guys inside this. So we will have a anchor tag. We will say class btn primary. These are all bootstrap classes guys. New client, and this will go to slash clients. So this will be, we will create later on. This is for the, if you want to create a new client. So this bootstrap classes guys, we have included bootstrap. If you see in the layout file here, we are including the style sheet. You will see in the library folder we have bootstrap. We are including the CDN. So that's why we are able to use these classes. So after that guys, we will basically have a table. We will give it a table class to it, table striped. These are all bootstrap classes. And right here guys, we will have table head. We will have different fields which will be ID, name, the email address, the phone number, then we have the address, and then created at. So if you just refresh now, these fields will be there. Now you can see that we have the button, we have the table. So now we just need to load the data that we see right here. So now to basically show the data guys, we will basically use this syntax inside table body, which is at the rate. So at the rate inside razor guys, it's a special syntax by which we can have for each loop likewise. So for each, we will say item in model. So for each razor view guys, we have an actual model assigned to it. We are inheriting our index model that we defined inside our this file. If you see, we have this index model which is of the type page model. So for this specific razor page, we have this index model that we are inheriting. So that's why we are able to access that model by the model keyword. So right here we have the variable list clients that we declared inside our model file that you see list clients. We are accessing it using the dot syntax, and inside this guys we will loop through inside curly brackets. So now to show that entry, we will say at the rate item dot id. Very simple. At the rate item dot name, at the rate item dot email. So you can see guys how easy it is to work with .NET. It uses the syntax of razor, which is this C# code that we are writing right here inside HTML, and then we have item dot created at. So if you just now run the application, you will now see all the data. You will see that which is present inside the database. So it is now showing the data right here guys, which is the name, email address, phone number, address, created at. We also need two more buttons guys for our action. We will have one other field right here, basically for editing or deleting the record. So this will be action, and right here we will have two buttons, btn primary, btn small, and this will be for the edit, and this button will basically go to slash clients slash edit. We will basically question mark, and we will pass a query parameter which is the actual ID. So item.id, actual ID of the item that we need to delete or edit. Similarly, we will do it for the delete as well. Clients delete question mark id item.id. So this will be btn danger, btn small. This will be for delete. So now what we'll see, guys, it will now contain two buttons. This is the interface that you're seeing right here, guys. So now we just need to hook up the functionality. So whenever we click new client, we need to show a form in order to create a new client. So how we can do that? It's very simple. We will look at in the next section. Now guys, we will move to the create part. So whenever we click the create button, we should able to create a form right here where we can add the details of the user. So for that, we need to create a new component, razor component. So go to our solution explorer and right here inside our clients folder, right click and simply add a new razor page. Just stop the application. Simply click a add razor page and simply select this option. And here guys, you need to select, instead of index, we will type here create .cshtml. So just rename this file to create add. So this will again create two files, guys, which is create cshtml and create cshtml.cs. This is the HTML file alongside with the razor component. This is actual C# code which will actually hold our model. So right here, guys, first of all, we will write our HTML. Here we will have a simple form which will be shown to the user. So let me write this. So here we will simply have a break tag. We will say new client. So here guys, what we will say, this will be a simple form and the method we need to specify, which will be post method. And inside this we will use again bootstrap classes. This is not mandatory, but we are just using it to style our application. And then we will provide the label, which will be name, call sm3, call form label. And then we will have call sm6. Here we will have a simple input field where the user can write the name. Form control is the class. Name attribute is name. So this name attribute is important. You should give this name attribute. We will reference it later on. And then we will give it a value as well. So this we need to repeat this, guys. For I will simply copy this. This is for email. This is phone address. Email, phone address. That's all. So here what we can say, we can change this to email. This will be phone. And this will be address. So here guys, what it will do, if I run this application, hopefully it should show me the form. Nothing happens. So why it is not happening here, guys? We do need to, I think I forgot to add that. If you go to Solution Explorer, index, and yeah, I think we do need to add this href attribute and slash clients slash create. That's all. So just add this line, guys, which is href attribute. So this will link it to the create page. Again, run your application. So now it will show you the form, guys, which will contain the name, email, phone number, address. These are the 4 fields. So now we have to have 2 buttons out there, which will actually after this we will have 2 buttons. We will provide these classes, guys. This is all Bootstrap classes. You don't need to know all these classes. We are just using Bootstrap for styling purpose. So this button will simply submit the form. We can attach this btn primary class. And secondly, the second button we will have is a cancel button as well. We will say here cancel. So if the user press the cancel button, in that case, we will link it to the home page. That's all. So if you now open your application, we will have 2 buttons, the submit button and the cancel button. If you click cancel, it will redirect you to the home page. So this is basically the interface. So now I need to capture the details, guys. So whatever details I write, I need to capture whenever I click the submit button. So this basically will make a post request. So the method here we have specified is post here. So that's why go to this file and we just need to implement a method which is public void on post. This method will get called, guys. So whenever you make a post request. So right here inside this method, guys, what we will do right here, before we will declare some classes or variables that we will need to reference. First is the client info class. Once again, guys, client info. We will need this client info. After this, guys, we will declare 2 variables. First one for the error message, if any sort of error take place, and secondly for the success message, if the data is successfully inserted into the database. So these are the 3 variables that we need to declare, guys. And after this, guys, what we need to do, inside on post, basically we will say client info dot name. So it will be equal to request module that we have, guys, inside C#, and then we have request form, and then followed by the name parameter that we have given. So this name parameter, guys, needs to be the same if you have given this name parameter. So that's why I was telling that this name attribute is very much important. So now we are referencing it. Email, phone, address. You can change this to email. Phone number. All the source code, guys, is given in the description of the video, so don't worry. We have the address as well. So we have captured all the 4 information. So here we will have a if condition, guys, that if either of these fields are not written properly, if the length is equal to 0, all the fields are important. Dot phone number dot length. So essentially, guys, here we are just checking if all the fields are written properly. Let me just write this. Here we are just putting the error message that all fields are required and simply returning it. So inside this if condition, we are checking for all the fields that we got the length property. So in that case, the error message will be equal to all fields are required. So now to print this value, guys, how we can do that? Go to our HTML file. Right here, we will make use of the razor template. And here what we will do, we will write basically at the rate, and we have a if condition here. If model dot error message dot length is greater than 0, it simply means that if the error message exists, in that case we will show a alert statement to the user that all the fields should be entered. And here inside strong, we will output the message at the rate model dot error message. We will also be having a cancel button with the help of which the user can hide the alert warnings. So if you just refresh now, guys, validation will be also be there. So if you don't write anything and try to insert it into the database, it will give you an error that all fields are required. So this is bootstrap styling, and we also have the cross button as well. If you just write this one but other ones are empty, that's all also. If all the 4 fields are entered, in that case only this error message will not take place. So now in this case we need to insert the data inside the database. So how we can do that? We will basically again make a connection to the database. So again we will write the try catch block. So this is the same connection string that, guys, I showed you early on how to obtain that. Simply write this. So after you make your connection string, we will simply use this code again to connect to the database. SQL connection, new SQL connection string, connection open, and inside our SQL statement, guys, what we will write, we will use the insert statement, insert into clients. So basically here, guys, what we will do, we will put the name, email, phone and address. And then we will put at the rate name, at the rate email, at the rate phone, at the rate address. So here we are inserting this information into the clients table that we created. So C should be small, our table. So now after this, guys, we can basically say using SQL command, we will execute this command. So now we will basically say we will add the parameters, guys, which is very simple. Let me show you the first one. The syntax, let me show you. So we need to add the parameter. This is the parameter that we are giving, which is at the rate name. So in place of this, we are basically inserting this information, client info dot name. So client info is actually this one. We are whatever is coming inside the input field, request form name, it is stored inside right here. So we will do this for every field here. This will be for the email address. ID will be automatically inserted, auto incremented. That's why we are not doing it. So that's all guys we need to do, and lastly we just need to execute the query. So we will simply say command.execute non-query, and here we will simply say if any sort of error take place, and we can simply return. And after this guys, we can simply also say client info name to be nothing. We can reset everything. And also we can show a success message, which will be record inserted. So you can see that we are defining the success message here that we declared early on, which was empty. So how we can now show this success message whenever we are successfully created that record. So right here after this submit and before the submit and the cancel button, we can similarly use the same logic that we used early on for the error message. We can simply copy this code, paste it, simply change here the success message. Instead of error, we will display success message. This will be success. So if you just refresh now guys the application, so what you will see after click, you will now see the validation message showing. So if I now enter correct information, so it is saying that violation of unique key construct, cannot insert duplicate key in object dbu clients. The duplicate key value is okay. I think it is saying that already that email address is already present. Let me see. If you go to view, just if I show the table data guys, it is saying that already this table users DB. Let me just delete that table. So this table we are talking about. So click submit and it is again showing this message to you, violation of unique key constraint, cannot insert duplicate key in object dbu clients. The duplicate v value is, let me wait guys, let me see what is the problem. Okay guys, I figured out the error. This was the actual error which was taking place. You need to replace the connection string. This is your database name. So my database name is not users DB. It is, if you see, this is the database name. If I stop the application, it is clients DB. So we will replace here clients DB. So again, if you refresh your application, so now if you don't enter anything, you will get a message. If you enter anything properly, click submit. It will take some time. Hopefully this will insert the data. Cannot open database clients DB requested by the login. The login failed. Okay, let me just see. if you just see here, this is our database. Let me go to properties. This is a connection string here. We need to copy this and paste it. Okay, sorry, this is client DB, not clients DB. This is client DB, and inside our index also we have written the same. Let me cross check. Yeah, client DB. So now once again, if you refresh the database, sorry, application, you will see if I enter the details. So now you can see that record inserted successfully. If you go to the clients here, you will see this record is successfully added, and you can add some more records. Record inserted successfully. You will see that. So now the creation process is working perfectly, guys. Now we will simply look at how we can have the delete operation. So first of all, we will handle the delete operation. So whenever we click this, it will redirect you to this slash delete question mark ID is equal to 1. So you can see that it is perfectly aligning. So this will be 5. So whenever I click delete, this will capture the ID number, which is 5. So we will delete the client using the ID number. So how we can achieve that, we will show it in the next section. Now guys, we will handle the delete operation. So for handling the delete operation, guys, first of all, we will again do, we will right click the clients folder, simply add a new razor page. Just delete, stop your application, add razor page, and simply select empty here, and just add this, rename this to delete, delete, delete. So for this, guys, we only want the view file, we don't need the model file. So simply select this option, which is razor view, and simply add. So now this will only contain one file. Here we don't need the model class, this file. We don't need this, we only need this HTML file. We don't need this model file for the delete operation. So this delete operation will be pretty simple. So here what we will do right here, guys, inside, let me write it from scratch, @page, and then we will use this system dot data dot SQL client. This is the actual library that we will use to interact with the database, and inside this we will write the actual code. So we will say inside try catch block, so inside try catch block, guys, first of all we will get the ID of the user that you want to delete. We will capture it using request dot query. So we will get the ID of the user that we need to delete. After we store it, we will now connect to the database, connection string once again. So let me just replace it. So our database name is client DB. That's all. So after you have your connection string, guys, we will connect to the database using this same code once again. SQL connection, connection, new SQL connection, connection string. So right here, guys, after you make the connection, what we need to do, we need to open the connection, and after this we will write the SQL line, which is delete from the actual table name, which is clients here, where ID is equal to @ID. This is actual, we are dynamically passing the ID, guys. You will see we are storing this ID inside this variable, and then we are passing it inside our SQL statement with @ID. So now we need to simply execute the statement. So how we can do that? SQL command is equal to new SQL command. We will pass the SQL command and the connection as well. So inside this, we will simply attach this parameter which we are passing, dynamic parameter. So how we can do that? Command dot parameters, and we will add a value here which we will pass here, which is actual ID. So here we have passed the ID here, and then we will execute this query, guys, which is execute non-query. That's all. If any sort of exception take place, simply return. This is a delete request, guys. It's very simple. We are capturing the ID of the user that we need to delete, and then we are making the connection, and then we are deleting the ID from that client's table. So if you just execute this application, so what should happen? So simply click clients, and whenever you click the delete option, that entry will delete. I think it should delete. So if you once again go to clients, that entry has been deleted, guys. You will see that that entry is not there. If you have once again click delete, again go to clients, that two client, the one and the two clients is not there, it is deleted. So what we can do, we can redirect the page to the same page when the entry is deleted. So what at the last we can say response dot redirect, we need to redirect to the this page, which is clients dot index page. That's all. So this will redirect you to the home page after you deleted the entry. So once again, if you refresh the application, click on delete, you will see that how easy it is. Now only two entries are there. Click delete, delete. So no entries are there. So again, you can create a new client. Click submit. So one entry has been there, clients. We can also do it for this line. We can add this inside our create function as well. So whenever we basically create the entry, what we can do after we do this, we can say response dot, I think right here only we can say response dot redirect clients dot index. So now you can see that. So one option we are remaining, guys, which is the edit page, which allows you to modify the details whenever you click the user. This is slightly complicated, but we will be looking it in the next section. Now, guys, we will look at the modifying functionality, update functionality. So whenever you click any user, you will be able to edit the details. Just you need to now add another Razor component. Simply click add Razor page, and simply add, and you can rename this to edit, edit dot cshtml. So now you can see we have two files created, edit HTML and the edit model class. So this edit will be quite similar, guys, to the create. So what we can do, we can copy the code for the create one that we created. So the HTML will remain the same, we will simply copy this HTML and paste it inside our edit operation. Simply paste it. So slightly we just need to make changes here, which is instead of new client, we will say edit client. And after this, we will have just go to our solution, and inside this, we again need to declare some these variables, which is the model variables, this public client info, new client info, and also these string variables, error message and success message. So just create these inside our model class, success message. So now this error will be gone here. So no error will be there. So after this, guys, what we will say, as you all know, whenever we click this button, we will get the ID. So inside onGet, we will actually store the ID for which we need to edit the client. We will say string ID. Again, we will use the request module request.query, and then we will store the ID that is passed by the user, store it inside. And now we will get the information about this user, guys, using this ID that we there. We will once again make the connection to the database. So this is repetitive code right here. So what we will do, we will go to our create operation right here. So we will copy this code. We just need to edit some code right here. Simply copy this and paste it. So here, guys, what we need to do right here, so just include this SQL client, we are included that. So our database name is clientDB, and inside of insert statement, guys, what we need to do right here, we need to get all the information about that client. So we will delete this SQL statement. Instead, we just need to write here select star from clients, where you will use the where clause, and then we will say id is equal to @id. That's all. And after this, guys, what we will do, we will execute this command. We will add the parameter here, which is the actual ID. That's all. We will pass the ID here. And then, guys, in order to read the information, what we will do, we will once again use this reader class of SQL reader, and then we will have a if condition, if reader read, if the data is present, then we will basically execute the code as long as the data is there. Client info ID is this is similarly what we done inside our index operation, guys, where we read out the data. So similarly, we will do it right here. ID, name, email, phone, address, like this. So now we will basically, if you see, guys, inside our form, we need to put out the values, pre-polled values. So we need to put the value here. value parameter. So here the value will be simply @model, and then we have our client info dot name. We can access the model here, guys. You will see we have the client info class, and then the parameter is the actual name. Similarly, in order to, we will say model client info dot email, model dot client info dot phone. So model dot client info dot address. So I forgot to do this inside our create operation as well, guys. So that's why we also need to do this in the create operation as well. The same operation, model client info name. Model dot client info dot phone number, and so just add this, guys, and now if you run this application, what you will see, basically if you click edit operation, a form will be shown to you and all the information will be pre-filled. You will see the name. Now you can edit this information. You can try to basically update this. So if you click submit, nothing will happen because we haven't written the post request, because we are making a post request inside edit. Once again, if you see, we are making a post request. So right here, guys, inside our edit one, we need to pass a special entry here. We need to pass a hidden field here. This will be hidden. By default, it will be hidden. This will be the name ID field we will pass. The value will be simply model.clientinfo.id. So this will not be shown to the user. It will be passed by hidden. This will be hidden by default, and this will be the ID of the user. So this is very handy. We will be knowing which user to edit and update inside the database. So we will use it inside our post request. So if you go to the, we will define our post request here, public void on post. So let me just write this, sorry. Okay, we need to define it right here, public post. So inside our post request, guys, what we need to do, we will basically get the information which the user submits using this request form parameter. We checked out earlier also how to do this. So request.form, ID, name, email, phone address. So after that, we will simply use the same logic, guys, the if statement. If the user hasn't entered anything, we will simply say all fields are required, that's all. And then we will simply make the connection. Again, this is the same code, guys. Let me just write it. So this code is pretty much the same code. So what I will do, I will simply try this one, paste it. So this is a create operation. So similarly, the code will be the same, guys. So here what we will do, we will here record updated successfully, and inserting it, guys, we here need to update. So we will simply replace update table name, which is update clients, and the SQL statement will slightly change here, which is update clients, and here we will say set, set, and then we will put the column names here. The column will be here name is equal to we will say in the same line, I think, set name is equal to @name, email is equal to @email, phone is equal to @phone, @phone, and address is equal to @address. And here you will add a where clause where id is equal to @id. This is basically the update SQL statement, and we will add this. We will also need to add this one other value, which is our the ID that we are passing. So ID, this will be client info dot ID. So we are getting this request form ID. We are getting it from that hidden value. You will see that. So now this application is complete, guys. If I test this application, click clients, and if I want to edit this, I change the name, click submit. You will see, guys, the name is changed right here and it redirected to the home page. I can add a new client. You can see the client is added. If I want to delete it, the client is deleted. This is your CRUD application, guys, where we interacted with the MySQL server of Microsoft, and this is ASP.NET. We have used Razor pages inside C# Visual Studio 2022. We have developed this CRUD application. All the source code is given in the description of the video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do like this video, share this, and also comment on this video. And I will be seeing you in the next video.